welcome back to another spooky episode of Podcast Unknown. What is today?
Today is Halloween!
Halloween!
Halloweeny.
Halloweeny. It is October 31st, one of my favorite holidays, even though I'm not doing much this year. How about you? Do you like Halloween?
I do like Halloween, though I do not often dress up for it.
What are you dressed up as this year for the people who might be out of the loop?
I am currently dressed up as a very popular character from a very popular series.
Darth Vader!
Tony the Tiger. No, the character I'm dressed up as today is Kylo Ren. Pretty cool guy. Not really, he's really whiny in the movie.
Yeah, he's really, really whiny. He's kind of, I don't know, he almost reminds me of a mama's boy, but I don't know if he has a mom.
Oh, he does.
Who?
Dude. What? Spoilers.
See how I played around that? No, I know Rey's mom. It's cool. So for the people who might not know who I am, Jake the dog from Adventure Time.
Oh, I thought you were Finn the human.
No, that's just right here. It's a tiny version of Finn, which is really weird because I don't know if Finn has ever ridden on Jake's, right on his boob. I don't know. I can't recall an episode, although I haven't seen them all, so maybe that's happened in the past.
That's fair.
Alright, so today's Halloween. I guess we're going to talk about some spooky, scary stuff. We got some things planned.
Yeah. Well, but before that, I'm going to go ahead and...
How far are we in? Ooh, we're about 3 minutes in. I was wondering how long the mask would stay on for.
I mean, I was going to keep it on longer, but at the same time, I don't want to... No, I don't want to spook out my...
Oh, okay, I see. I see. And you want to get FaceTime on the camera.
Yeah, a little bit.
I want to try the mask on. I want to see what it looks like.
Jake the dog and Finn the Kylo Ren. The fun will never end its adventure. Team?
I don't think the creators intended for either of these franchises to be like this.
You know what? But I'm not mad. This is pretty...
I can't see what it looks like in the viewfinder or the little, the display over there, so I'm just going to have to look after this ends.
It looks pretty intimidating. I definitely I wouldn't want to run into that in like a dark alley.
Well, I mean, granted, I don't think I'd want to run into either Kylo Ren by himself or Jake the dog. I'd be a little bit afraid of Jake the dog.
I wouldn't, because he'd be cool.
I mean, you think he'd be cool. And then he starts, stretching and, morphing into different shapes. And you're just like, I've never seen that before. That's freaky.
Right, but, if it was Jake the dog, I'd be cool with it. Because he's like, hey, what's going on there, buddy? Or, he's going to, stretch and, we're going to go on, a really crazy adventure. If it's, a rapid, it's just a dog and it's, weirdly yellow. I'm like, oh, that's a really cute dog. And it's yeah, that would freak me out.
Like a horror movie, Jake the Dog?
Oh, God.
I wonder if anybody's ever made, a short film about that.
Yeah.
It's, Halloween Adventure Time live-action short film. Jeez. I'm imagining it would either be really good or really bad.
I noticed there are, on our thing there's a lot of big things. Is that normal?
It is. So that happens when we get really, really loud.
But that wasn't that loud.
Yeah, that one wasn't quite as loud. Really, really loud.
I'm going to try. Really, really loud. That's not...
Yeah, almost. Yeah. So for the people who can't see what we're talking about, we're looking at the waveforms for our audio. We got Audacity pulled up, and it's attached to our microphone. We are watching our voices go up and down, or watching the waves go up and down as we're talking. And Randon noticed that when we got really, really loud, the waveforms were peaking. Mm-hmm. They were peaking. And you asked if that's normal. That is normal. That's actually something that I do after we start recording the podcast. Mm. It's sort of my audio editing phase. Mm. I go in and I get rid of some of the ambient noise, and I go and isolate just the vocals, and I equalize it so it makes the lows a little bit higher and the highs a little bit lower. So it makes it all a little bit more, easier to listen to.
Fair.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's technology.
Technology.
Which can be spooky sometimes.
All right, now Matt, with the Halloween spirit, have you any scary stories that you'd like to share?
Any scary stories that I like to share?
Any spooky stories?
Nothing that's so I don't think I've ever encountered a ghost or any sort of paranormal thing really that I can't explain. However, this isn't necessarily spooky, but this is one thing that I can't explain. That's not really scary, more so just kind of weird. So, have you ever encountered like a situation where you think a thought, say you just think about a particular person,
Okay.
and then it's like it's totally out of the blue. You're not really thinking about that person for any reason. They just pop into your head, and then you go on with your day and you forget about them. And then you see that person later in the day,
And they die.
I don't think they died. No, that's never
dies.
happened to me before. Eventually, everyone dies.
Not according to that sign, actually.
What did the sign say? Did it say no one really dies?
Yeah, no one ever really dies.
But that's not true.
I mean,
Everybody dies at one point.
Can't prove it.
You can. You can.
Not until you kill everyone. I won't believe it.
Is that a challenge?
Heyo.
So yeah, like I've encountered this weird thing before where I'll think about like a person or I'll think about a particular situation and then it happens. Like for example, I'd be thinking about like maybe I'm going through my day and I just think randomly about like my neighbor and then I'm walking home and I see them. Although that's sort of normal because they're your neighbor.
Yeah.
I've been in a lot weirder situations where I think about someone I haven't seen in a long time and then I just randomly run into that person.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as if my brain knows I'm going to run into that person before I actually do it. It's really weird and I can't really explain it.
Yeah.
And I hesitate to say that I have superpowers, but I might have superpowers. I hope I have superpowers.
No, that's actually a very common thing. Let's see. I'm not exactly sure what... I mean, because loads of groups are ideas or ideals lay claim to like, oh, that's just this or that's this happening. But one of the popular things I've heard recently is, that I think is pretty cool, is the idea that it's like everything... Well, okay, since your brain's made up of like electrical signals and stuff, the composition of what makes a person or any living thing a thing is like energy per se, you know? Not to sound like vague-ish or like super hippie-ish, but I'm saying like literal electrical signals are what make up your personality firing to the different sections of your brain. Mm-hmm. Well, the idea is with every, type of energy wave, there's other wavelengths, and that since you're just surrounded all the time by all these different, whether it be life or radio wavelengths, certain times, random times, they kind of intersect. So you'll feel something in one day and you'll think or something another, and it'll just coincide with something happening. And maybe the background noise of your brain that's taking in all the things, like all the statistics, all the stuff that's happening in your average life, will extrapolate something like a likelihood of a prediction, if you will, like a subconscious prediction. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it happens, It's weird.
It is pretty weird, and it definitely gives a sort of bizarre feeling, like, when it happens. And it doesn't happen very often. Like, I don't want people thinking, like, I walk down the street and I just, like, I know I'm going to see you or whatever. But it's really bizarre.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a follow-up question, or ask you a follow-up question. Have you ever dreamed a dream, and then that dream comes true? Like a sense of deja vu or something. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, I thought I was the only one, but I guess I'm not. I'm not special. I'm just normal.
Oh. No, man, you're special. Are you a wizard?
You're a wizard, Larry. You're a lizard, Larry. But yeah, that's also happened to me, like where you dream a dream and it's not like anything crazy is going to happen. It's just maybe you're driving your car or you're sitting on the toilet or whatever, and then it's like that happens.
Dreaming that you're sitting on a toilet.
It happens. It happens, okay? So I talked a little bit about spooky things that have happened to me. What about you? What's a spooky thing that's happened to you?
Well, a spooky thing that's totally happened to me. Once, years ago, I want to say 2004?
2004?
Yeah, around like 2004-ish, 2005. We used to live in an apartment complex called Chateau Terrace. Mm-hmm. It was back in Georgia, Athens, Georgia, in fact. Shout out.
How close is that to Stone Mountain?
Closer than Ohio, but not much closer. Like,
really?
Like it's in the same way. Like if something in, like downtown or not downtown, like in Mason, like how close that would be to somewhere in Cleveland. It's like
okay, I see. So it's like a couple hours.
Yeah. Or at least, I think so, at least. I remember it took a while to drive there.
Stone Mountain's really like the only Georgia thing that I know. And I only know it because of Shout at the Gambino.
That's not bad. I mean, but it's pretty lit.
So you were talking about the Shadow Terrace, the place you used to live?
Yeah. There were at least 2 occasions where something super spoopy happened. And of course, mind you, this was like early 2000s, so it was still coming off the wave of a bunch of really random, creepy ass shows from the 90s just being on TV.
And you're coming off the scare of Y2K. All the adults are freaking out.
Yeah, I mean, after it didn't happen, everyone kind of... But I mean, it could have happened, though. That was close.
It might happen again. Be prepared for Y3K.
No.
3 Spooky 5 me.
But, I remember on one occasion, I finished taking a shower, and on the, almost at the window, on the mirror, it spelled out, die. And I was like, what? Why, though? Like, I didn't write it. I'm the only one at home. No one wrote that.
Were you actually the only one at home?
Yeah, it was super spoopy. And I was like, whatever.
Did anybody else live with you at the time? Like, your parents or sisters or siblings?
No.
Or anything? No?
Just my dad and me.
Did you share a bathroom?
Yeah, no, it was super spoopy.
That's weird. I only asked because I was going to say, like, I don't know if, I mean, this is probably normal, but, like, for example, when I take a shower and it fogs up the mirror or whatever, I can, like, write something on the mirror, and then once that fog decondensates or evaporates off the mirror, if my roommate goes in and takes a shower, it'll reappear.
Yeah.
So I wondered if maybe that happened and you got, like, hardcore pranked.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess not. I'm happy you're still alive.
It could have. We would have like people every once in a while, like my stepsister or cousin would come by, but it'd been a while. It wasn't there yesterday or the day before.
Did you do anything about it? Did you do anything about it? No.
I
guess I'll die then.
it was like, is that a challenge? It was like,
is that a promise? Please.
And then in that same place. This one's a little bit more spoopy.
Yeah.
It was, I guess, in the afternoon. I was waiting for my dad to come home, and I hear the door open. I thought I hear like him say something, so I come out of because at the time, I was in his room because his room had like HBO and stuff on the TV, so I was just like watching
Game of Thrones.
No, I would probably lose my mind if I was watching that. Like, this is the most cool thing ever. Nothing else would matter. But I went into the main hallway and I saw my dad walk in from like the main hallway to the kitchen. I'm like, hey dad. And I followed him in there. No one's in the kitchen. No one was home. It was just a weird projection thing. All right, you win. Well played. I just left.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And like, did it ever happen again?
No.
Was it in the same place?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, that was pretty spoopy.
So you just followed him into the kitchen and there was no one there when you got there?
Yep. Super spooky. But hey, that's life.
Or maybe that's death. Maybe you saw a ghost. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a story like that. Like, I don't think I've ever like seen anything. I mean, I've encountered sleep paralysis before. Have you ever encountered that?
No.
So sleep paralysis is fucking terrifying. As you can probably guess by the name. It's kind of like, it's when you're asleep, you wake up, parts of your brain wake up and other parts don't. So your body, you can't move, like, because your motor skills haven't kicked in yet. They haven't really woken up. But your brain is cognitive enough to where you can see and you can hear, but you can't talk. And it's fucking scary because you like hallucinate things because your brain is still kind of asleep. So you're like dreaming, but you can see and you can look around and it feels like you're totally awake, but you can't move. It's really, really scary. And I haven't seen any like hallucinations when you have that. I just have encountered where you can't move, but other people have encountered like the same hallucination. Like it's spread across different like people from different places. People always report seeing like the same thing, which I think is terrifying. Absolutely scary. I couldn't do that. I don't know what I'd do if I encountered a ghost, honestly.
Be like, hey, what up?
Hey, what up, though? You trying to smash? But, like, I always feel like if someone were to, like, walk in the room right now with, like, a gun, I feel like I would react in a way where I could predict it. Yeah, I'd, like, hide under the table or, like, throw something. I don't think I'd be frozen in fear. I don't think I'm that type of person. But if there was like a ghost or something that just completely defied the laws of physics and sort of like fucked with my reality, I don't know what I'd do. Like I wouldn't have a game plan for that.
I almost always have a game plan for that. That is
Even
like
if
the
there's
thing.
a ghost?
Especially if there's a ghost.
What do you do? Like you can't do anything to it.
Okay, first off, depends on what type of ghost we're talking about.
Okay.
Is it like a conventional, I'm just a ghost? Or is it like I'm a scary, spoopy ghost? I'm
That
going to get
one.
you. All right.
Come and get you.
I'm going to get you. Generally, and what I'm about to say is it's part headcanon, part like logic. So you being alive, you already have a leg up. Things that are dead or not of a physical nature or physical body can't really affect you per se, but they can affect things around you. And in movies and stuff, that's like shown like throwing things across the room or making a book fall.
Okay.
But making a book fall is mostly like gravity. That's
Right.
They
They're
can't
just,
like
pushing it over or whatever.
and that's the main thing. And it's like the more afraid you are, the more powerful it can become.
Okay.
Because it's feeding off. Remember that thing I said earlier about like the subconscious background
Yeah.
noise thing? Well, have you ever seen the movie Lazarus Effect?
Yeah, you and I watched it together actually.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
They actually kind of dip into like that whole spoonful of exactly that. So like, it would at the most it would try to do is make you afraid, and the more afraid you are, the more power it has. Like I guess.
But what if it had the ability to like actually do harm? Because you wouldn't know.
Well, that's the question. What do you mean?
Like, what if it had the ability to like enter your body and kill you from the inside, or if it like had the ability to, I don't know, just turn your brain off, like something that we can't even really perceive because we've never encountered that before.
Right.
Like that's what I'd be afraid of because you can't hit it.
Right. Well, that's the thing. It can't do that to you
How do you know that, though?
because you're already alive.
Yeah, but how do you know that's not how other ghosts are made?
Being killed by a ghost.
Yeah, makes me ghost like you're being bitten by a vampire.
No, it's when you die in a way that's, or potentially when you die in a way that's like not unrelenting. Because mind you, a lot of people die all the time in situations that are not ideal, and they die tormented. But it doesn't mean they always come back as a ghost. I'm sure there's a random. I'm not saying I fully believe in ghosts. I'm just saying if they do exist.
This podcast is not sponsored by ghosts.
If they do exist, because it's kind of like science, you know. Mm-hmm. If it's something that occurs, it can be tested and tried and repeated.
Yeah.
Ghosts, we haven't really been able to do that as much, but from what we do sort of have, or at least believe in, they can't just affect you by being alive. Because you're alive. You have like your own like life barrier. They can mess with you and like make you susceptible to like possession, which at that point would be the electrical stuff in your brain, just them kind of like lightweight overriding that. And even then, you don't get like bend back powers or crawl on wall powers.
So you tell me that wasn't a documentary? Because I took it as a documentary. When I watched it, I thought it was real.
The most you would get out of that would be like somewhat expanded knowledge of like things you shouldn't know about or can't know about.
That could be a good thing.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I want to get possessed. I learned so much.
It's kind of like the idea of that, though, like a possession like that would be like country music, right? Like right now, you can't hear it, but it's out there.
Sure.
But it'd be like if country music started playing in your head, and then rock music, then rap music, and all of it started playing really loudly.
The way you said that, you can't, like country music, you can't see it, but it's out there. It's coming for you.
This summer. But yeah, it'd be like overloading your brain, and that's no good. Like you'd have all the information, like all the internet in your phone, but you wouldn't be able to Google anything.
I don't know, man. Paranormal stuff just freaks me out, kind of. Like, I'm never really, like, I'm not, like, scared stiff of, like, a ghost because I don't really believe in them. Now, if this were a horror movie, now I'm kind of destined to get haunted because of what I just said.
They believe in you.
And they're coming for me this summer.
Rob Schneider in.
But I'm just, like, that's one of the things where it kind of, it's like, what do you do in that situation? So, okay, let me give you some.
Right.
Ghost floats in or whatever from outside through the wall. It floats in and it's just like, what would you do?
I'd be like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'd try to talk to it at least.
You wouldn't like run? You wouldn't be scared?
If it walked in, it floated in, I was like, I'm a ghost. No.
Exactly like that. Hey, baby.
Why you not replying to my DM? You know how hard it is to hit those keys?
I have to keep pushing these books onto the computer. So if something strange was happening in your neighborhood, Raymond,
Okay.
who would you contact?
Ghostbusters.
Wrong. The Mythbusters. Always the Mythbusters.
No, depends on how strange it is. Like, there's a difference between, like, paranormal, like, ghost stuff and, like, rabid monster alien creature. Different scenarios. Because that one doesn't give a fuck. It'll
The rabid monster?
Yeah.
You call them Men in Black. They'll come save you. Will Smith will save you.
They won't. They'll just nuke the town in orbit and blame it on ISIS.
And then they'll do the little mind flash thing. And everybody will forget it.
Jeez. But in a situation like that, depending on how like dire it is, there's very little. Like, okay, for example, one necromorph, party wipes. I cannot fight off a necromorph. I know that. I'll fight it to the death, but it will kill me.
To your death. You'd fight it to your death,
yes.
not its death.
Because the thing about it is, it has these two gigantic claw pincers, right? And it has these little tiny arms. And like, so let's say you, I've somehow blocked your two death pincers.
Oh, then it was just like...
Pull you in and bite your head off. That's why they're there. It's broken. Fucking necromorphs, man. Tell you what.
Necromorphs are spooky.
Super spooky.
So let's switch topics from scary things to happy things. What's your favorite Halloween memory? Do you have like a favorite Halloween memory, something that makes you happy? Or even, I mean, like maybe you encountered a ghost. We don't have to make us happy. We could be sad.
Be happy, be sad, be a wild, rotten lamb. Don't bother me now. I'm drenched to the bone. Sick. You know
that reference went over my head.
No, it's like a dramatic-ish poem song from I think a band called Sketh.
Sure.
It's pretty good. It's pretty interesting. What was the topic?
So, do you have like a favorite Halloween memory?
Yeah, when I was super little, and I think maybe before 5, but like after 2, so like maybe 3 or 4 years old. Like, I really don't know which age it was.
4 or 5 after 2. It leaves us 2 options. It's got to be either 3 or 4.
Hey, who knows? I might be a time wizard. I don't know how old I could be.
You could be a time wizard. Time travel's stupid. Time travel's dumb.
It's like pausing a movie and starting another one.
Yeah. It's like... Alright, so I'm getting really off topic. We can go back to this topic. Or I can think about it while I rant about time travel. Time travel is stupid. Damn. Alternate dimensions are stupid.
Damn.
And it's because like in movies or comic books or TV shows or whatever, I feel like it's oftentimes a cop-out. The writers are kind of just like, we've written ourselves into this corner. How do we get out of it? Time travel. How do we get out of it? Alternate dimension.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we'll just travel back in time and change it. We'll make this event never happen. Mm-hmm. I think it's an overused plot point, and I think it's cheap.
How do you know that that's not already happening right now?
I need to leave.
Like, who's to say that, like, right now, like, a spooky ghost and a necromorph came in, and we survived long enough to where it's, like, it's some crazy-ass journey, it's, like, 10 years later, and, like, we're watching this podcast, we made time travel, and right before you get the thing, you press a button, and, like, I die, or something, and, like...
I would never.
And as we're both being, like, disintegrated, you, like, change one thing from, like, the past, so it never happens, and it just resets.
I would change it so the podcast so it never happened. I'm kidding. I love this podcast. Also, the way you started that story, you said a necromorph and a spooky ghost both walk in, and I immediately thought a necromorph and a spooky ghost both walk into a bar. The bartender says, and I was like wondering like how the joke was.
No,
please. I would like the nachos.
Now you have 2 ghosts.
But
I agree with you. I know what you mean. How time travel can be pretty stupid. And here's the funny thing about that. It's because a lot of times when they do time travel in like movies, TV shows, books, and comics, they're not consistent. You can't MacGuffin something with time travel. You can only travel through time with time travel. Because, like, if you go, it's like one of the rules, you know? If you go back to change an event, you can't because anything you did would have that event happen, you know? Like, for example, if I were to make a time machine right now, I could, if I waited 10 years, I could time travel anywhere in that 10 years, but not to before I made the time machine. Because I didn't have it, you know, didn't exist.
Right. It creates a paradox. It's kind of like if you make a time machine and you go back to before you had the time machine, you've now convinced yourself not to make a time machine.
Yeah.
Therefore, how would you ever have been able to go back in the first place?
Yep.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And the whole reason I don't really like time travel and stuff is it really rustles my jimmies, man.
Rustles your jimmies?
Rustles my jimmies.
Grinds my gears.
It's just not creative.
Yeah, and that's the worst part
At
about
all.
it. Because you can do creative stuff with time travel as long as you own up to the consequences and don't try to use it as a MacGuffin. But oftentimes it is exactly those two things and not in that order.
Yep. And it makes things, like, unnecessarily confusing. Like X-Men. The movies are just so all over the place now. Like, I was
Fucking
thinking about
X-Men?
that. Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier today. I mean, not that X-Men is, like, you know, the most realistic or the best, like, you know, case of reality or whatnot, but prior to Days of Future Past, it was Future Past. It was really, like, it was really linear and set in stone. You know, like, you know, this movie takes place after this movie takes place before this movie. Yeah, this one's a prequel, like, whatever, yada, yada, yada. It made sense. But ever since, Days of Future Past, they've, like, diverged on, like, different timelines.
Jesus Christ.
And there's it's almost like, when you go see the movie, you have to guess, like, oh, is this in this timeline or is this in this timeline?
Remember Angel?
Yeah.
Fucking how he's in both of the series but doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Yeah.
Or how Mystique is important.
Dumb. It's dumb.
God, it wrestles my jimmies as well.
Yeah. One of the things I didn't like about Angel, you brought that up and my mind went to it, was like in one of the first 3 X-Men movies, I don't remember which one, but he like, it was like a modern day one, so it was probably like...
X3, Last Stand.
Was it X3? Okay, so it's, let's say 2005, 2006, does that sound right?
Yep.
Okay. Angel was in that movie.
Yep.
And then he was also in the most recent one, Apocalypse.
Yep.
Which does not take place in... Like, he was younger in that movie, right?
Oh, yeah. No, it doesn't even make sense. He was the son of some guy in that one. He wasn't Russian.
Why?
Yeah, because Logan...
dumb.
Because of what happened in the other movie where they put him in the past, in his brain, Days of Future Past. Because of that, Angel, instead of being born in the future, was somehow born earlier and to different parents. Just don't think about it.
I'm lost already.
Just think about Cable and Deadpool and be happy. Just Cable and Deadpool.
Cable and Deadpool and Logan, the only 2 good X movies.
Cable was that's a good thing from the time travel.
Yeah.
He's a guy who just came from the future to fuck with the past.
I honestly don't know much about Cable.
Pretty cool guy. He has a techno virus. Or I'm not sure if that's what it's called, but I'm pretty sure it's what it's called.
Okay.
That's like the reason he's like part metal. And it's like a whole like bad dystopian kind of future, if I'm not mistaken. But like he's like the metal part of like his arm and all that.
Yeah.
It's because like there's a weird techno-organic virus that he's constantly fighting off with his regeneration, and it's slowly killing him. And it's like he can't be at full power ever essentially. But he's like, I think he has like genes, psychic and telekinetic abilities and all that. And I think I might be wrong, but some of like Cyclops' like laser thing, I don't remember exactly. But he's a hardcore badass from the future. That's what he does.
I'm excited to see his portrayal in the second Deadpool movie. I'm excited to see what they'll do with him.
He's gonna be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because he and Wade are pretty cool friends. Like they're pretty, but like he does not. Let me put it this way: if Cable had to take out the X-Men to stop something bad from happening in his future, he could do it. And
really?
he wouldn't have any questions about it.
Really?
He is like Wolverine on a rampage. Like he just doesn't give a shit.
Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
So we totally got off topic about this. What's your favorite Halloween memory? Like 10 minutes after I asked you the question.
So my favorite Halloween memory from when I was either 3 or 4 was, or one of my only Halloween memories I could think of. I was dressed up as, I think, not the Black Ranger, but it was like a Black Ranger from Power Rangers. Power Rangers, I think, in space. It was. He was like a mystery ranger. Yeah, I was dressed up as him. Yeah, that was I think the first time I remember actually going trick or treating on like a Halloween.
Really?
And I think also the last time I ever went trick or treating on like a Halloween.
What?
Yeah, I've never actually really been trick or treating. Because like by the time I was like 6, I didn't like go with anyone to go trick or treating, and never went trick or treating since.
Why are we here right now when you could be out reliving your childhood? We should go trick or treating.
I don't think that'd be really creepy. Like trick or treat. Like can't you just buy the candy? I'm like, look. It's not the same.
We have to go up to everybody's door. We gotta go like trick or treat. That's like as deep as we can. I just got out of the federal prison. Trick or treat. My earliest Halloween memory was me dressed up as Darth Vader. And I remember that I dressed up as Darth Vader. It was probably pretty similar to your outfit right now. I mean, I know you're Kylo Ren, not Darth Vader. But I remember hating the mask. It was like one of my mom's friend's son's mask or something like that she just borrowed so I could have it for the costume. And I hated it so much because it was so hot and I just didn't want to have it on. And I was a little kid, so everything was super annoying. Mm-hmm. And that was my very first memory of Halloween. And I remember going trick-or-treating, and I went through the whole stereotypical view of Halloween where you're a kid, you love trick-or-treating, and then you become a teenager, and it's trick-or-treating is for babies. Mm-hmm. And you don't go trick-or-treating, but you still low-key go trick-or-treating with your friends. And then you get old enough and you're just this is free candy. Why am I passing this opportunity? And then now I'm kind of in the phase you just talked about where it's just I'm 22. I could drive to Kroger after we finish recording and just buy all the candy. Why walk? Why walk and talk to people? Why interact with the rest of society when I could just use Amazon Pantry to deliver candy right to my doorstep? This podcast not sponsored by Amazon Pantry. But that's just my Halloween memories. And I remember always wanting to go all out on Halloween, but I never really did. Mm-hmm. And it probably spawned from the fact that the guy who lived across the street from me. I don't know if you ever saw it. If you ever saw it while you were at my house, but the guy across the street from me used to set up these huge inflatables. Every single Halloween, he'd set up 30 inflatables in his front yard, and that's not an exaggeration. Wow. He actually would go and set up 30 inflatables and all these lights and decorations and music, and I'm sure it looked pretty badass tonight because he does it every year. But I always wanted to be like him. I wanted to be I want our house to be cool too. Mm-hmm. And then my parents were always just we're just gonna sit in the driveway. We're not gonna do anything more than that. And I was always so disappointed. Mm-hmm. But what can you do? I guess when I have my own house, I'll go all out, or I'll just not do anything. I'll be a hermit. Who knows?
I'll actually be in a cave in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia.
You got it.
That was hard.
English is hard. Talking is difficult. So I said, I'm on this thing tonight, man. I'll say something and then I'll think about it, visualize it in my head. So I just said, maybe I'll be a hermit. And I envisioned myself, dressed up as a hermit crab, opening the door for kids. I'm the hermit. I don't have any candy.
That got so creepy so fast.
Yeah.
I don't got any candy.
But I got better stuff. Take these pills, kid.
Here's some free life advice.
Trick or treat, you get tricked.
The candy won't make you happy.
The only way to happiness is through pain.
Jeez.
So when you're older, when you have your own house, your family or whatever, do you think you'll give out candy to kids? Do you think it'll be, and if you do you think it'll go all out, or do you think it'll just be kind of here, have a candy, whatever?
I think for me to go all out, I'd have to have a kid at that time.
Okay, yeah, I feel you. Because then you're not just some creepy old guy going all out for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. What if you dress up like a kid?
Oh, God.
If I ever have a kid, I'm going to dress up the kid like me, and I'm going to dress like the kid. Just to freak people out.
But, you'd have to be with them all the time. Or else everyone would be like, oh, he's an adult. And it's, oh. The quick change. It's oh, okay.
I feel so bad for him.
You'd be wearing, a shirt that doesn't fit.
Oh, no. It looks like a crop top because it's a little kid's. I thought this was Kids R
It's
Us.
like, oh, yeah. Where do you get that shirt?
It's like, honey, call the police while I distract him with candy. So is there anything else Halloween related or spooky that you want to talk about? I'm blanking on the things that we talked about when we walked over here.
Scary story.
Oh, scary story, right. Yeah, no, go right ahead.
Alright, so I have prepared a scary story.
Okay.
I wrote in Matt's thing last week, but he didn't see me write it.
I'm gonna wiggle my computer screen real quick.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Just a little, Bill. Swing. Alright. The scary story is titled Our Scary Story for Halloween.
That's the day.
It is today.
Be prepared. Coming to a theater near.
This summer. Alright, well, I guess we'll just start it.
Yeah.
It was raining today. Normally, it only rains on Sundays, but today, it rained. My name is Ted, and I live in Rain Valley. It typically does rain every single day here, but today should have been the exception. Today, we planned on having a massive fire pit out in the forest. Today, our plans were canceled because it rained. Again. This isn't the first year this has happened, nor the second, but we really did think that the third year would be free and clear. But unfortunately, just like Grandfather predicted, it rained. My sister and I like to go to the festivals and festivities that the town provides in the square. However, as you may have guessed, we did those things earlier in the week when the rain wasn't as bad. Today was supposed to be the day. The with like underline and stuff. So I sit across the room, I sit in the room and look at. I wrote kind of fast, so I have to.
Some makeshift editing on the fly.
As I sit, I look across the room, and I've noticed that my sister's taken my jacket.
That bitch.
I think she's planning on going to the festival center. If she was, she didn't tell me about it. I asked my parents, "Where did Janet go?" They replied, "I thought she was with you." This sent a chill down my spine. I contacted Grandfather with our home phone, and he said that Janet wasn't with him either. The wind outside started to pick up even more. I was getting worried.
Oh, no.
Janet was my little sister. Though I am 12 years old, she is only 6. And I don't think she understands that the rain can get worse than it has been this week at any time, especially a day like today. Without a jacket, one would be drenched to the bone. So, without telling my parents, I ran upstairs and grabbed my father's jacket and ran out the back door. I ran into the wind, I ran into the rain, and I screamed from the top of my lungs, though I'm sure the wind made me deaf. Janet, Janet, where are you? It isn't long before I get to the main fairgrounds, where no one's around except for massive piles of wood, drenched to the bone. It is starting to get dark, and I have to head home soon, but I just can't head home without Janet. I can still see my house, and everything seems fine, so I keep pressing forward. An hour goes by, and it is dark now. There's nowhere for me to go, and the rain is just as bad as before. Suddenly, I hear my name, almost as though it was a whisper. Simon? It sounded like my sister. Simon. It's definitely Janet. I run as fast as I can to the voice as it calls my name. Simon! Simon! More clearer, I can hear her, and I see I'm back at the fairgrounds. But this time, the wood is afire. Oh, a flame. The wood is aflame. One of the stacks leans and groans and falls to the forest floor. But it doesn't catch, thankfully. Simon! More aggressively, I hear. I turn to the main pile, which hasn't been lit yet. My sister's sitting at the top, tied to a post. Without asking any questions, I stumble and crawl all the way up to the top, as fast as I can. They're shouting more and more frantically as I climb. Simon! 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 As I reach the top, I see my sister. But it's not her. It's one of her dolls. I turn. I see my whole family and the people at the town gathered at the bottom of the pile. But my sister is the only one there not wearing a mask. The other fires are lit, and before I can do anything or climb down, they throw the flames onto my pile. My sister still screams, Simon! And the flames crawl higher. There's so much smoke, I can't breathe. I begin to cough, choking, confused. Then I feel it, the heat, like being in a sauna for too long. And it grows and grows, pushing beyond the numbness, beyond the pain. And it reaches me. And it feels like ice. I can't hear my sister screaming. I feel like they're all chanting now. Then I woke up from the dream.
Alright, M. Night.
Shyamalan, you got Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
And for those viewers curious, I didn't actually. It wasn't a thing. Off the dome.
I envy your ability to do that. Because I can't. I wish I was as creative as you are. For example, I was thinking yesterday, actually, because I was like messing with my camera and trying to think of stuff. It's like, I should make a short film, I should like write a script or something. I think it'd be pretty cool to do writer's block. I can't come up with stuff like that on the fly. And I think it's really cool that you can.
Hey, we could do that. We could make that a thing. A
We
little tiny, like 5-6 minute short. I don't know where we'd find a kid. Tonight's the night to go shopping. They're practically giving them away.
All you need is a bowl. A couple Three Musketeers at the bottom.
No, they give 3 Musketeers. I guess it's in the top 3. But that's...
Top 3.
Top 3.
Musketeers.
But, no, I mean, they even give you the option. Trick or treat. They didn't say. They're really putting it out there.
Trick or treat. I choose trick. Yeah.
You gotta push the product.
So enough about child abduction. I would love to get into short filmmaking, honestly. I know we talked about your, I can't remember what it's called. Center of Attention. We talked about Center of Attention. Have you made any more work on that?
Not much. Just because I've been working and sleeping.
Yeah. I would like to get into short filmmaking. I'd like to get into music videos and stuff. I just like to do more video related stuff. I think that'd be really cool.
Yes, most definitely. And
I know you even mentioned, or we talked about even putting clips within the podcasts, so that sort of to break up the status quo and not make it all a single shot, because it probably gets boring. But I think it'd be really cool to put clips of stuff in. Yeah. We should do that. We should see if we can shoot the story that you just wrote. But now we have to remember it because we didn't write it down.
Well, it's
that's right. We don't have to remember. We can just go back and watch the episode.
Because we're millennials.
You almost killed me there.
Would have been a spooky ghost.
think there's a ghost in my throat. I got a funny, or not a funny, I got a spooky story.
Got a spooky one.
Yeah, a spooky story. But I gotta write it first.
Oh, okay.
So it'll only take me a couple seconds.
Okay. Election of
I'm done.
President Trump.
I'm done. I'm not sure if you can read it, but it says 401k. It's time to talk about retirement, kids. The spookiest, scariest thing in life is the future. Never move into the future. Embrace the past. Hold on to the present.
It's like a dying light that only gets more bright as you age. Wait, no, that doesn't.
That gets more dim.
Yeah, there it
It
is.
gets more dim.
As you
Unless you're Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
Then it gets brighter.
Until you're blind, and then it burns.
What happened at the end of that movie?
He became an infant baby.
Yeah, but did he, die?
Yeah.
Did he... I never watched.
I'm sure he died of complications.
Probably.
There's always like a really vague thing that a doctor can say that always bothers me. How'd he die?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, I mean, I guess.
There were some complications. Yeah, like what? Just complex shit. You wouldn't understand. You're not a doctor.
As I was sliding his aorta to the left, I noticed he also had one to the right, and I'm like, what? That's complicated.
So I sliced the left one, thinking, well, he only needs one. I had a thought, and then I completely forgot what I was going to say. I lost him. I hate it when that happens, man.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Wonder where they go.
I don't know. Wouldn't that be crazy if there was a box, and you just stumbled upon this box, and it was called I don't know,
Loot crate.
forgotten. So we have a sponsor. Maybe one day, hopefully. Loot Crate, if you're out there, please, we're desperate. No, but wouldn't it be cool if you stumbled upon a box on the side of the road one day, and it was called Forget-Me-Nots or something. And you open the box, and it's just a liquid. Dip your finger in, and all of a sudden you remember all the things that you You remember all the thoughts that just flew out of your head. Kind of did you ever read or see Harry Potter? Remember how they could take people's memories out of their minds? Kind of like that, but not quite as magical.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
As a quick comment, though, if there's a box that said "Forget-Me-Nots" and you open it up, there should be clippings of hair and something else really creepy alongside of it, because that's what that is.
What is your hair?
No, on the side of the road, that's where you would find something that creepy.
That is true.
And then second, the liquid that you dip your finger into. Does it say that on the bottle? Because I feel like someone would be like, all right, I already risked it enough to open this box. What is this, brandy?
No, all it says is Forget-Me-Nots.
Tastes like feelings.
The scariest thing of all. We said that future was scary, but feelings are even more. Don't catch feelings. They'll catch you.
Feelings, I choose you. Go, anger. Go, depression.
It was super effective. I see the trainer crying in the background. Scariest movie you've ever seen?
Scariest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. Scariest movie you've ever seen.
Shoot.
I can talk about my scariest if you don't know right at the top of your head.
I don't. Shoot.
Scariest movie for me, The Tunnels. You showed it to me.
Really?
Yeah, that movie freaked me out. So, for people that don't know, watch The Tunnels. It's really freaky. Watch it in the daylight. Turn your lights on. And don't watch it with this guy, because he'll scare you. It's kind of a low budget, almost like an indie film, but it's not a short film, it's a long film. It's a full film. It's not a short film, it's a long film. It's more than a medium film, but it's kind of a long film, you know?
It's more like a macro film rather than a micro.
Rather than micro. But it's about this group of people that find a tunnel, and they go down into the tunnel, and they're just they're doing some stupid stuff. And then some spooky things happen, and it's just it's really scary because it's found footage, and that always gets me. Found footage always gets me.
Mm-hmm. But it's a found footage and also a documentary.
Yeah.
So it's you have the people talking about their experience, it's super legit. But promise, totally just a movie. Spooky. I don't know, scariest movie though. Because I was thinking scariest because it bothers me the most, or scariest conceptually. Like, cause okay, let's say like scariest movie, right? A post-apocalyptic movie.
Yeah.
Because that means like no matter what happens, humanity lost that in that movie. Sure. Even if it's like an action movie, like we're gonna rebel against the machines. Yeah, but like our whole way of life has been destroyed. That's bad. But as far as scariest movie, I'd say one of my favorite scary movies is The Thing, just because it's so. It's like the feeling of like knowing that you could very easily. Oh, okay, wait, hold on. Let me refrain. I think my scariest movie is Knowing, because like that one bothers me the most.
I don't think I've seen that.
It's one with Nicolas Cage and.
You're not making it very scary. You're actually setting up a comedy.
Hold on. He's on like the path of because he gets. I think there's like a time capsule thing, and he opens it up. And it's like this weird sheet of paper or something like that with a bunch of these numbers. And he realizes these numbers are like dates and coordinates. And he goes to like a few of them, and like crazy like national or worldwide disaster happens there. Huh. It's like maybe we can stop these things from happening.
Okay.
And it quickly devolves into some crazy shit. But that one I think is conceptually the scariest one for me. But as far as like, I don't know, conceptually in the sense that it could happen. Like, I could totally see that shit being a thing. Not the whole prediction, seeing the future. Hey, maybe, fuck it, I don't know. But that one versus the one I'm about to talk about, that one could happen. That one bothers me It bothers me. The Thing, however, that is like knowing that something incredibly disastrous can happen or could happen in like a minute or two. Like, it'd be like if right now you're being told that like outside of the library, there's like a guy with a gun and an axe, and he's killed like 53 people already. Oh. And he's thinking about coming into the building, and everyone outside of here is already gone.
Good thing the door is locked.
They didn't stop him before.
Oh no!
He was a descendant of the woodsman from was it Little Red Robin Hood? Seriously, think about it. Like, why is he there? Who called him? No one did. He just kicks open the door and just chops a lady in half. Swear. What's up with that? Does he go to jail?
Probably not. Red Robin Hood.
But anyways, yum.
I just realized I said Red Robin Hood, and I was like, I didn't know whether to follow it up with like a yum or to like, take notice to my mistake. So I'm just gonna own up to it. Robin Hood, Red Robin, they're different.
Are they?
I wonder if there's like a Red Robin Hood burger, and it's just like you pay a lot of money, but you don't get much. It's like taking money from the rich and giving it to, it's a good idea.
I mean,
a really expensive burger, but they donate all the food to like a homeless shelter.
That sounds like compassion, and companies don't really go for that.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, and that. Have you ever seen The Thing?
No, you haven't shown it to me,
dude. All right, well, in that there's like an alien creature that gets unearthed.
Oh, like Thing, Fantastic Four.
Way worse. Way worse than that.
Can there be anything worse than the newest Fantastic Four movie? Ooh. I don't think so.
I mean, if we're going to open up the door to the past, Avatar The Last Airbender. And that's just...
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That was not good.
All of it was pretty bad. Like, I wanted to say, like, well, at least the characters were... At least the acting was...
Sokka?
The Avatar.
At least get the names right. If anything, at least get the names right.
The Avatar.
I can't. So tell me more about The Thing while I calm down.
Triggered.
Triggered.
But it's an alien creature that has the ability of essentially taking anything that's organic and assimilating itself to it, and like replicating. And that's how it spreads in the most violent way possible.
Okay.
And the thing is, it's in Antarctica. And and there's a prequel called it's also called The Thing. I like the movie. Some critics don't as much. I fucking love it. And you find out that the reason it looks the way it did when it goes to in the original movie, in the 1982 version, because there's an American team in Antarctica just doing basic studies. Yeah. And there's like a dog that runs up and a guy shooting at the dog. And they shoot at the guy because he's obviously a crazy man in the weird Antarctica place shooting. And then the dog turns out to be The Thing. Don't worry, no spoilers. It's just the first 3 minutes of the movie. You find out the reason it's like a dog is because in Antarctica, obviously there's no floral pastures or green stuff. Yeah. allegedly.
That's what NASA wants you to think.
Hey, you never know, unless they do. Um, but yeah, so it's a dog, and it just really quickly ramps up, and you realize, or at least one of the characters in the show or movie realizes that if this thing gets out, it will just spread to like fucking everywhere, anywhere, all the time, really fast. Like within like an hour or 2 hours or a couple of days, like entire world dominated, all of it. But everything would be the thing.
Just because it can replicate itself?
Yeah. Again, in the most violent way possible. Mind you, it was a dog and a couple people. It wasn't like exposed to grass.
Right.
Fucking grass, dude. Imagine that shit.
That would spread super quick.
Oh, God. Grass, bugs, pollen. Oh, Jesus. Let alone... and all of them are like weird...
Oh, no.
All of them are like weird mutating monster creatures that just fucking infest you, eat you, kill you, and replicate you.
Now that's what I call spooky. So you said that there's a prequel, right?
Yes.
So does the prequel explain like where it comes from, or
No.
why it's in the shape of a dog, or anything?
Yes, they explain the shape of the dog.
Okay.
They don't explain where it comes from, and that's another great question about the thing. Like, does it even know what it is? Because if it assimilates,
where'd it go?
they find it. Where's it going? Kind of
I was wondering if you could pick up on the joke.
but like,
So in sync.
bye bye bye. Oh, no, that's Backstreet. That's Backstreet Boys.
You tried.
I try.
We'll brush up on our 90s boy bands off camera.
That sounds a little... All right. One Republic. But, no, they find the spaceship in the prequel. They show the spaceship this time.
That it landed on?
No, that it was piloting and then crashed into the Earth.
Oh.
And that's the thing. It's been frozen for, like, before dinosaurs. That's the crazy part.
Oh.
Had it
So it's
just...
been here for a long
Yeah.
time.
If it just didn't fuck up when it's landing, the whole world would be completely different.
That's quite inconvenient for us.
I know, it's very convenient for us.
Well, quite inconvenient for the characters at the time, because like, what if it stayed frozen for longer? Then they wouldn't have to deal with this whole situation.
Right, but at the same time, if anyone else had discovered it, they might have made it worse.
That's true. Humanity overall would have been screwed, more or less.
Though there are many sacrifices, but it was worth it, I guess. Because like they in this thing they find it in the ship, but at the same or they find it near the ship. And this thing, you don't know if it flew the ship there or if it infected that ship,
Right.
killed the crew,
Right.
and then landed here on accident because it didn't know how to fucking fly a saucer. And then you're like, wait a minute, that means there's like an alien species confirmed from at least a couple 100 million years ago. And they were like super advanced, they have a spaceship and shit. Like, not only are you no longer alone in the universe, but whatever your friends might have been are now possibly dead. And were killed by this one thing. Or maybe there's a whole planet of those things, and they just flew a saucer really shittily once.
What if that one was like the rookie?
Right.
Like, what if that one's like the weakest one of its race?
That's what I'm saying, man. It gets
That's-
fucking...
I like the fact that they don't explain where it comes from. Like, I think that's one of the things that it did really well, the book, not the movie, because they haven't really done that in the movie. They never really explain like where it comes from, to my knowledge at least, and they never really explain like they kind of explain how it got here, but it's really vague and it's sort of like up for interpretation. And I like that there's just so much uncertainty about it. I think that's cool in a horror movie because not knowing is scarier than having all of the facts.
Oh, yeah.
Like something.
Yeah, it's fear of the unknown, you know?
Spooky.
It's only natural.
So, other Halloween topics. Actually, I just noticed we're at an hour. We're at an hour and 5 minutes. Look at that.
Would you look at that?
Oh, would you look at that? Is there anything else you want to mention before we sign off?
Putting this hood on is very difficult for me.
You should have done it after the mask. Or before the mask.
Don't care about me before I put on the mask.
Wrong mask! Kylo Bane.
Kylo Bane. I will break you.
What do you think is going to happen in the newest Star Wars? What's your theory? Short theory.
My theory is that it will be visually stunning, but story-wise, disappointing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. That's...
Because, I mean, especially Disney, what they do a lot is what we do at Disney.
Well, Disney owns everything, so it would not surprise me if they own you.
But they do this thing where they set up for other movies instead of making a solid fucking movie.
Oh yeah.
You know what the original Star Wars, like the original trilogy did? Made movies that could stand alone. That's why you could watch any one of them and kind of be like, this is fun. But this fucking, they just set up all the shit for like, don't worry, the next one's coming.
I kind of feel like Marvel's doing that to an extent. Some of their movies are great, some of them are not so great. I think it really depends on the director. Apparently Thor is really good.
And you know what's funny about that? A lot of their movies can stand alone. Like, you can watch Iron Man 3 and not be concerned about, like, the Avengers. But because of the Avengers it just existing, its own problem is, why aren't they, like, gathering more often to help deal with these threats?
Yeah.
Like
that's a big gripe in the TV shows, too. It's like, why haven't the Avengers stepped in to take care of this by now?
Yeah.
It's below their pay grade.
Right.
Come on.
Well, we don't know where Cap is.
I think he's a war criminal. That was a good scene. Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Cool. Well, I think that's it for this episode. Unless you have anything else to say. Anything spooky-ooky to say for Halloween?
Halloween. Yeah. Every year that you're alive, you pass the anniversary of your death. Happy Halloween!
And other facts similar to that, sort of blow your mind or whatever. At one point, you were the youngest person on Earth, and at one point, you will be the oldest person on Earth.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
What? No, you won't.
Yeah. No, okay, the oldest ones. I screwed the pooch on that one. Alright, so the oldest one doesn't make sense at all, but the youngest one totally does.
There are people who are born at the same time.
Yeah, but there's still, I mean, when you think about like microseconds or whatever, there's still one that was born before.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, like, legit ass baby. Like, if we had 100 children being born at the same second, I'm sure a lot of them would have the same microseconds. I mean, we'd have to go, like...
Yeah, you take it super deep, but still, I mean...
What is this, time travel?
We're rewriting the past by modifying the future.
That sounds like a really good slogan.
I should run for president with that slogan.
That's not nearly dirty enough of a slogan to run for president. You should know better.
That's true. Make America time travel again.
We already did it once.
Well, I think that's it for this episode. I guess we'll be back in another 2 weeks talking about who knows what. Maybe we'll have a short film by there. Or by then, who knows? We got some stuff in the works. Alright, cool. Well, I guess that's it. See you guys next time.
Bye. And may the force be with you. Always.